Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the ALA Midwinter meeting and to the ERT Booklist Author Forum. Ladies and gentlemen, Ruth Ozeki. Ladies and gentlemen, Terry Brooks. Ladies and gentlemen, Gregg Olsen. Ladies and gentlemen, Ivan Doig.
It's a story about a reader and a writer. So I suppose you could say it's a love story, because I guess all stories about readers and writers are love stories. The reader is a novelist with writer's block who lives on a remote island in Desolation Sound. Her name is Ruth. And she is taking a walk on the beach one day, and she discovers a Hello Kitty lunchbox that's been washed up on the beach. And she picks it up and thinks, of course, that it's debris from the 2011 Japanese tsunami. And so she takes it home and unpacks it, and inside finds a batch of letters and an antique watch and a diary, a secret diary that's hidden inside a copy of Proust's In Search of Lost Time. And so she starts to read the diary and to try to discover the fate of the writer. The writer is a Japanese schoolgirl named Naoi Yasukani, and that's part of the diary that you just read. And she is a troubled girl. Her father is a computer programmer. She grew up in Silicon Valley. Her father lost his job. The family is moved back to Tokyo, and she's put into junior high school where she's being terribly bullied. And she's decided that the only way to solve her problem is to commit suicide. But before she kills herself, she wants to do one last redemptive act, which is to tell the story of her only friend, who is her 104-year-old great-grandmother. So it's a story that the two stories, Ruth's story and Nao's story, are kind of interleaved like this. And it's really a story about what happens when the right book ends up in the right reader's hands.
But I think when you live in a place like Sterling, which is pretty remote from everything, it's small, it was great for growing up as a kid back in the 40s and 50s. But when I left, I ran because I wanted to be in a larger, more cosmopolitan kind of place. But you carry with you those memories. And what was good about it was that if you live in a place where there's not a lot going on, it forces you to think outside of the place that you live in. And for me, it was always about writing about something larger than what I knew. Which is probably why I write these great big sweeping sagas that go on for book after book after book. And why I'm compelled now, even now, to continue to write that kind of story, because it's what intrigues me, and it's the kind of canvas that a painter wants to work with, because it's that large experience.
But I did have the opportunity to write what, that publisher came to me and said, Greg, are you interested in writing for a younger audience? And the younger audience may be 12 to 18 or 25. Young adult could be 55, seriously. I've seen, that. Okay, so I had the opportunity to write for that crowd, and I really give them the same book I give the adults, except the protagonists are teenage twin girls. That's the only difference. I mean, it's the murder story, there is the autopsy, there is the investigation, it's all right there, but the protagonists are twin girls.
I have a book coming out this fall titled Sweet Thunder, and it represents, let's see, the main characters are two of the, sadly underwritten segments of American society, newspapermen and librarians. And so it's, I don't know if it's a series. Two books count as a series, guys. Okay. This follows Work Song, a story set in Butte. And so did I mention it's about librarians? Yeah. So Samuel Sanderson, the figure in Work Song, vigilante turned Butte public librarian, who is described by one very generous reviewer as the most memorable librarian in American fiction. He's back.